You're watching the India Today See Voter Mood of the Nation survey, the biannual tracker that India Today does every year. All the details in the India Today magazine. The big point, of course, of the survey is Narendra Modi and the BJP are clearly on the ascendant after the setback of sorts that they suffered during the Lok Sabha last year. But remember, Indian politics is not just fought at the national level. The real battles, and especially over the next few years, will take place in the states.
We now come to arguably what is the most contentious part of the India Today Mood of the Nation poll, which looks at the rankings of different chief ministers pan-India and in their state. And before we get these numbers to you, I just want to say we're just the messenger. This is not our perception. This is not what we think of any of these chief ministers or how their rankings have gone up or down. This is what respondents in this sample, 1,25,000 respondents in their own states and across India thought of them. So, hame mat itna aap kuch bula bhara bolna.
So what you're saying, there are two parts.
Yeah.
One is asking people across India. The other is asking people within their states who's the...
I have seen on the back of these MOTNs, there are protests in some states. How dare you reduce our chief minister's rankings, or celebrations with laddu, suddenly like one box of sweets is reaching up at home.
And every time in Tamil Nadu, whenever Mr. Stalin gets the #1 ranking, he actually announces it in the assembly that I've topped the list.
No, and they send sweets, or they do like an after party. I mean, none of us get invited to any of that.
I don't know about the sweets and the top side of it, but what I can tell you is that for last many years I am observing, those who are on the bottom of the list are either kicked out by their parties or they are kicked out by the people. So sometimes I wonder that giving the 1, 2, 3 is more important, or giving the list of 25 to 30 is more important from the news perspective. So that is the one critical element of information.
So please allow us to have a peaceful weekend. Don't shoot the messenger. This is just the rankings. We're just delivering them to you. All that being said, here it is. On your screen now, for the first time, most popular chief minister across India. This is pan-India ranking. This is not of that CM in his state. This is pan-India ranking. Yogi Adityanath, Maharaj from Uttar Pradesh, comes up on top at 35%, topping the charts for the 10th straight MOTN, followed by Mamta Banerjee, Chief Minister of West Bengal at 11%. Big gap between her and Yogi Adityanath of 24%, but Mamta Banerjee comes in at number 2. Pan-India, MK Stalin, Chief Minister, Tamil Nadu, leader of the DMK, comes in at number 3. Making an entry for the first time since coming back to power, Chandrababu Naidu, Garu Naidu, is at 5%, number 4. Devendra Fadnavis coming in as Chief Minister, jumping up to 4%. That's the top 5 list. We won't give you the bottom 5 because then we can't check any social media for the next several days. But that being said, make also note of the fact that Yogi Adityanath has fallen 11% from 46 to 35. That is important because in last year he was 46. That's an 11% fall for Yogi Adityanath. Mamta Banerjee has jumped up from 8 to 11. Pan-India, MK Stalin coming down just 1%. Chandrababu Naidu getting 5. Devendra Fadnavis getting 4%. Rajdeep, interesting numbers these.
I have problems though with this part of Mood of the Nation. I've said it in the past because this is a visibility tracker. The reason why Yogi Adityanath is so high, and you're going to really see the real Yogi Adityanath story unfold in a few moments when we look at popularity within a state, it's visibility. For BJP cadres, Yogi Adityanath is the most visible chief minister. They all want him to come to their rallies. I think instead of saying most popular, you should be changing this to most visible. That's my view. The most visible chief minister across India is undoubtedly Yogi Adityanath.
No, but he could be visible in a bad way also.
Sure.
So this is popular. This is the question. This is the answer. You don't like the answer, therefore you don't like this question.
No, that's not true. And the whole story will come in a few minutes when you show me popularity within a state. I think for a chief minister, that's far more important. Do the voters of my own state see me as popular and a good chief minister? The chief ministers in that chart matter more than this. The reason why Chandrababu Naidu is up and in your chart, because Mr. Naidu is now a player. He is the one who holds this coalition together at the center. Devendra Fadnavis is there for the first time because he's just won a big election in Maharashtra. My limited point to you, Rahul, is I think the big takeaway is Yogi Adityanath has been able to build himself as a pan-India figure. No doubt about that. That, I think, is the biggest takeaway from your first number.
No, and to come
no
in
other chief minister
his numbers
comes close to that at the moment.
His numbers are largely coming from the BJP supporters outside UP as
That's
well.
outside UP.
Outside UP. But at the same time, you can see a very clear dent over there, and that
Why
has
is that
to do.
fallen?
That is because he could not deliver Uttar Pradesh. Lok Sabha election, big number of BJP supporters blame Uttar Pradesh alone that BJP is not having a majority because UP went down. UP में problem था इसलिए majority नहीं आया. That is the common thing that the BJP supporters or Modi supporters or Modi sympathizers say that. So I think he had to take that blame. And in a way,
that's a good point.
And apart from that, let's also face the fact that some other curious names, say for example, name of Himanta Biswa Sarma, which is like probably import from the Congress, but on the Hindutva front, his statements and his way of saying the thing is almost going at par with it. So oddly enough, when we ask a follow-up question, big number of Yogi supporters actually also say the name of Himanta Biswa Sarma because he is kind of attending to that constituency.
No, but it's no mean feat, Raj.
Yeah.
That for 10 straight polls, Yogi Adityanath has been number one. We also need to account for the fact that in the last year, it's fallen by 11%. But for 10 straight polls, the same CM to come up at number one shows massive pan-India recognition.
Yeah, I would, somewhat differ with Rajiv, while I agree with you on some points. That is truly creditable. If Yogi Adityanath is able to nationally project himself, it's a good thing. You do need state leaders, and we've seen a state leader rise to the prime ministership. So you need the next generation. So I think a chief minister should not only be good nationally, but also be good in his home state. Do both. I'm not saying one exclusive or other. You might be great in your home state if you're not nationally thinking. So the quality that Yogi Adityanath needs to focus on, the fact that he does very well nationally is acknowledged and very creditable. But whether he's doing well in his home state, he needs to introspect. And let's remember also, this is in contrast to what the others are doing. The percentages
Sure,
are
but
falling.
Siddharth, what this does very clearly is set up Yogi Adityanath as first amongst equals in the next generation of BJP chief ministers. When it comes to other chief ministers, he's made it abundantly clear over 10 MOTNs that he's in a weight category of his own.
Absolutely, and that continues. And please also look at the number when the next tracker happens, given the number of people who have visited UP, the pilgrim circuit, starting with Prayagraj. So that massive number, if you go by the top line number.
If they had a good experience.
Well, most of them seem to have had.
And let's not forget, in the thick of Ram Temple, the rebuilding of it, BJP loses really a huge number of seats in UP.
But there was a grudge match that has also been sort of
one thing. But let's also not, I mean, I'm just tempering it with that.
No, but I agree with Raj on one thing. Any chief minister who is appearing on both the lists,
yes,
I would say that, okay, this is something interesting in terms of governance, in terms of, what you are doing on the ground. So for me also, I tend to look at both the lists.
Okay, let's take the second list. Since so much is being said of the second list, this is the list of those who are popular in their own home state. Let's take that now. And this is interesting because I know there'll be an after party in Sikkim tonight. When this data goes up, Prem Singh Tamang, the Chief Minister of Sikkim, whose rating has jumped, and Yashwant Deshmukh will have to explain why, from 26% to 62% in the last 1 year, has emerged as being the #1 Chief Minister in his own state. That is quite a remarkable performance for Tamang. MK Stalin too, and remember there's an election coming up next year in Tamil Nadu. Before that, in his home state, which matters frankly more for a party like DMK than what the rest of the country thinks of him, Stalin has jumped from 36 to 57. That's 21% points up for MK Stalin. A big vote of confidence in the leadership of MK Stalin. Himanta Biswa Sarma was only 3% when it came to national recognition. That can also be because Assam is a northeastern state, relatively small in the national context and therefore not as prominent as in Uttar Pradesh. But in his home state, where it clearly matters more for Sarma, he's jumped from 49 to 55, a big 6% jump for Himanta Biswa Sarma. Bhupender Bhai Patel, many of the national viewers may not be tracking him very closely, but voters in Gujarat are. There's an election there in 27. Rahul Gandhi has said, Kasam Khata, I'll unseat them. He's got 54% popularity rating in Gujarat up from 43%. And Chandrababu Naidu, who was featuring highly in the pan-India top 5, is also in his own state's top 5, but that could also be the recency effect because his government has been in power for barely a year.
So Rahul, the big winner, according to me, from your CM's ratings is MK Stalin. Mr. Stalin is the one person who's clearly figuring in both lists.
Stalin and Naidu
and
both.
when I look at top 10,
No, Stalin and Naidu both.
Stalin and Naidu. Yes,
both,
okay.
yeah.
Stalin
So
Stalin
if you
the
look
point.
into the list, just to add to your point, before you make a point, 3 people are there in the list where their individual ratings are high, also because of the fact that the opposition in their own state is completely in meltdown. There is nothing left over there right now, including Stalin, including Prem Singh Tamang, because the opposition has literally melted down over there. Okay. Now, in terms of Himanta Biswa Sarma, in terms of your Andhra Chief Minister, this is not a meltdown opposition states. So I would say that these two have really worked hard on the ground in their own state to keep their rating. Mr. Stalin is facing an absolute fragmented opposition right now. So is with the case of
I just have one,
Sikkim Chief Minister.
I think it's very important also. We did this in the State of the States. We do that annual State of the State rankings. And there we realized over a period of time, we do have to make a differentiation between big states and small states.
Smaller states, yeah.
You see, otherwise what was happening is the small states were running away with the prize all the time, so we did that. I think maybe the time now, Yashwant, is next time, we actually give a separate categorization
Two different
for them.
categories of the biggest states.
If you look at it, the size of Tamil Nadu in terms of the state is much, much more difficult maybe to administer. I'm not denying any credit to Mr. Tamang
Point
on this.
well taken. We should do it.
We should be doing it.
Yeah.
Second, I think we must give credit to Mr. Stalin because the fact was, there was talk of him, huge amount of anti-incumbency. He's always bounced back. He's held the Lok Sabha, literally swept, and therefore to figure very high in his home state means that he's doing something well
And
as
also
well
the
as
fact
nationally.
that even in this MOTN, the projection is almost like 39-0 for his alliance. And his projected vote share is also 50% plus.
No, and
So,
also,
but the fact is, Rahul, I look at the top 10, not just the top 5. When you look at the top 10 here, there is no Yogi Adityanath here. Mamata Banerjee is at number 6. She's also in this list at number 2. Stalin was at number 3 in the most popular chief minister across India, and he's number 2 in his home state, which goes to the polls next year. Himanta Biswa Sarma is at number 3 in his home state, goes to the polls next year. My limited point is, I think we need an explanation, and that's the big takeaway for the Yogi paradox. Very popular across India at the moment, but in his home state, not even in the top 10 chief ministers at the moment. I think that is significant because remember, Uttar Pradesh, according to me, is going to be the other big battle that will decide national.
Rajat Sethi, you
he
want to
is
come in on this and
arguably
try
more
and explain
popular
how this
outside
works.
UP
The
than
fact
in
that
UP.
Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath seems more popular outside Uttar Pradesh than he is in his own state?
So I think it's quantity versus quality, and what the Chief Minister Yogi Ji's team has to do now is he has won the recent hard-fought battles of bypolls. The narrative is now gradually starting to shift. There have been fundamental changes that have been made from the administrative standpoint. There has been a cognizant effort made in to reach out to various sections of the society. There is still simmering aspirations from a whole host of small OBC parties and the OBC vote bank also, which the BJP will have to do a lot in order to meet their expectations and meet their aspirations. These individual leaders who have been in the alliance need not carry, or maybe they're not able to carry the aspirations of these OBC votes that they represent that well. So there is this whole host of situation, and I believe there is still time, and where BJP in the state of UP will have to start rethinking what fresh ideas, what fresh set of representational aspects of voting can be addressed. How can
Shankar
the
Iyer,
cabinet
your
be
quick
reshuffled,
take on
all of
the
those things.
pan-India rankings and state-wise rankings of the different chief ministers? Welcome, Shankar.
Well, according to me, it's very simple. It's about jobs. It's about employment. Tamil Nadu has got the bulk of investments coming into Tamil Nadu. They've created jobs. 2 of the largest chip manufacturing investments have been made in Tamil Nadu and in Assam. So Hemanta Biswa Sarma has worked hard to get that. He's worked hard to get hospitals. He's worked hard to do stuff in Assam. In Tamil Nadu, they have created, I mean, almost every new investment that we've heard, whether it is Tata, whether it's Foxconn, whoever it is, they're going. Tamil Nadu has the largest number of women working in manufacturing. All of this matters, when you go around this pole up and down, what is the one thing that strikes you? You compare them. Now, if you reference this to periodic labor force survey or FDI interest, you will get some idea of why certain chief ministers are popular or not popular. I think the fact that Mamata Banerjee disappears from the first five is also a reflection of the economic management. If you see Chandrababu Naidu stays on in the first five somehow or the other, that is because something is happening there. He's doing things, his effort has to show. Now, as we speak, there are 3 or 4 states which are conducting this kinetic, Karnataka, magnetic, Madhya Pradesh, whatever, investment summits which sort of are drawing now. West Bengal had an investment summit. Let's see how much of those translate into investments and how much of those create jobs. I think the principal issue here is roti.
Okay, there's an interesting piece of trivia. When I look at these top 10 chief ministers, as of now, there is only one congressman in it, Siddaramaiah, who comes in at number 10, who's been battling it out also in Karnataka, facing a sort of war with Shivakumar.
No, there's Revant Reddy also at 2.1.
No, in the top 10 here. In the top 10 most popular chief in their home state.
Revant Reddy is popular pan-India.
Pan-India. But look at the top 10 in their home states, which I think is the most serious sort of out of the two segments by some distance. Out of the top 10, only one congressman. But guess what? There are about 4 or 5, 4 of them who have been former congressmen. You can even include Chandrababu Naidu and thereby make it 5. Think about it. Hemanta Biswa Sarma was battling it out within the Congress, never believes he never got his due, goes out, he's now number 3 in your list. You've got a Pema Khandu, Arunachal Pradesh, was part of the Congress, eventually joined hands with the BJP through his Arunachal Congress. Manik Saha was at some stage someone who was seen to be part of the Congress ecosystem at that time. He'd attended a few Congress meetings. Mamata Banerjee at number 6, one time with the Congress. The point I'm making, the moment they seem to shift to the BJP gives them opportunity. Or if they are able to strike out as regional leaders like Chandrababu or Mamata. I think one of the problems that Congress chief ministers have had, do they have the kind of autonomy and independence that they get when they join a regional party? I'm a bit surprised with Bhupendra Bhai Patel being in the list.
That's purely
which is interesting.
On the BJP's support base over
there.
But
it shows that Mr. Modi has been able to lift someone who was he was a first-time MLA when he became chief minister. But he's in your list. I find that very, very interesting that he actually seems to have acquired an identity of his own.
Given the lack of popularity of the previous 2 chief ministers.
Especially given the lack of popularity of the 2 chief.
I did mention about the bottom of the pyramid. And the one name over there has been asked to go in Manipur already. So, that remains there.
Where is Nitish Kumar in this list? There used to be a time when Nitish Kumar used to be either in your top 5 All India or top 5 in...
Well, without ranking from the bottoms up and like that in that way, people in Kerala, Himachal, Rajasthan, Puducherry and Punjab need to be careful.
Okay, but I want to know where is...
Nitish Kumar, Pan-India, is at number 8. He's got 3.4% weightage pan-India.
That's across India.
But in his home state,
he's not in the top state.
He is outside the top 20. Let me put it this way.
In his home state, Nitish Kumar is outside the top 20. I think there's a story in that.
Of course.
Because, here was someone who was a dominant leader of Bihar just a decade ago. Now he's not even in the top 20 in his home state. I think there is a message there.
But I think just to qualify a lot of these things, really it's a large mood of the nation poll. Sometimes to drill down these numbers becomes very difficult.
Raj is now worried about all these chief ministers ringing him up when they read the latest India Today. I can tell you the Sikkim Information Center already knows that their chief minister is number 1. They sent me a message. Once again, our chief minister is number 1 All India. And the other interesting state, which is going to be the Goa chief minister, is nowhere in either list. There's been much talk of a lot of infighting in the Goa BJP. Normally, Goa tends to do very well. And the chief minister tends to do very well in your mood of the nation. This time, Pramod Sawant is not in either list. So there
Well,
could
that
be a
only
message
tells,
there.
I mean, from the anecdotal evidence that you are telling, that only sinks in well with what the mood of the nation, I mean, and by the way, the second list is the one which we actually generate from our routine tracker. So it is not just, okay, we have just done one dip in last 10 days and that's how, no. It's been there for last 6 months, day in and day out. We are tracking the popularity and performance of these people in their own home states. And that's how we come to know. And the spread, sample spread is so wonderful.
And last one very interesting point. Correct me if I'm wrong. If I recall, in most of your chief minister polls, Naveen Patnaik used to dominate.
Yes.
Either as most popular chief minister in his home state or also fairly high up across India. Odisha is not there. So BJP also has to make sure that, you know, their chief ministers get prominence. I went to Ahmedabad. I suddenly see much more of Bhupendra Patel on posters. I still don't think that the Odisha chief minister has managed to get an identity of his own.
Okay.